Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Hopefully no Borough slander today, because I've got backup in the form of Aage Fjortoft, also Craig Burley and Stevie Nicol here. So
we're not backing you up on Borough.
Please tread carefully.
Oh, I do.
I'm a little bit fragile after yesterday. All right, we'll start with you, Jan. Jan, do you think Haaland will join a team with Mbappe in it this early in his career? Or should he stay away from him as a rival so that they can push each other further, like Messi and Ronaldo did?
Well, it's a part of the discussion now, because everybody now, like after this amazing transfer window, they just start thinking of next summer when Mbappe and Haaland will be on the market. It's all about spaces. Where could they go? Yes, I can think that they could play together at Real Madrid. Benzema just extended his contract, didn't he? So they will have a famous three up front there again. But it's hard to see. But I can see the two of them play together. We remember the jokes going between them, or jokes when, in quotes, when they played Dortmund against PSG. So that could be a deadly duo.
Coastal Pardeshi asks, Craig, prime Hazard or prime Bale?
Wow.
Hazard.
Close.
Bale.
Yeah, just.
Divided panel there. All right, Stevie. Yeah.
Well, you're not interested why?
Go on then, why?
Oh, they're still in there.
Yeah.
I wasn't even bothered. She wasn't even bothered before. No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a difficult one, actually.
It seemed like Bale's was all about him. It was all like beat 5 players and score, whereas Hazard's known for setting his teammates up. So it seems as though Hazard was more of a team player, although what Bale did made his team better. Does that make sense?
Right.
Well, the one thing I would say is Bale made that big step to Real Madrid and, for the most part, performed.
No, I can't. No.
That's, you know...
Champions League.
Yeah.
Hazard has made that
You're
big...
changing each other's minds.
Yeah, no, you're right. I never thought
I just thought of that. No, I was thinking about it, because it's a good question, but they're both very good, both excellent players in the peak. But Bale made the big move to Real Madrid and delivered. Well, people will say, well, he didn't deliver. No.
I think he swung me.
Oh, so you're all Bale?
Swung me vote.
We're all Bale now.
Yeah. Yes.
If Hazard had gone into Real Madrid fit
And done the same. Yep.
but then it's a different era.
What?
Let's just slander
question.
Borough instead.
No. Well, you might get a
Hey,
chance.
what's better, the Riverside or Ayerson Park?
Ayerson Park.
Riverside.
Oh, there. See, even those two.
Yeah, but we know why Jan says that.
Ayerson Park, are you serious?
It's the nostalgia.
You're not going to say it's a dive, are you?
It's not there anymore. It's a housing estate now.
Is it?
Well, it's probably better off as a housing estate.
But I don't know. Are some of these new stadiums not just boring?
I mean, the Riverside is a beautiful stadium.
No, I don't mean it's not. I mean, the Emirates is nice, but they're a bit of a job lot, aren't they? Jan.
But Kay, when I came to Middlesbrough and I went to Ayerson Park, so I played there also the last game there before we went to Riverside. And the first one I met in the dark corridors was Gordon McQueen. Can you believe it? I came there. I was at the time a record signing, and I went down on my knees because in the 70s I was so a big Leeds United fan. And when he went with Joe Jordan to Manchester United, I was crying. And the first one I met was Gordon McQueen. A legendary moment in the young Fjortoft life.
I was at that game as well, Jan, the last game there. I'm not going to ever post a picture of it because my hair was shocking.
Roker Park was another one.
Oh, you do that, Kay. We want that, Kay.
Yeah, but Roker Park was okay to play at. Ayerson Park was there was nothing enjoyable about playing at Roker Park.
At Ayerson Park? Well, that was the idea.
At Ayerson Park, sorry.
That was the idea. We didn't want it to be enjoyable for you,
What
did
about
we?
the baseball ground?
Great place to play. Great place to
You
play.
didn't play at Pride Park, obviously.
No.
See, these all...
Baseball
I'll tell a
ground.
lie. I did play. I've been at Pride Park. But you could. Tell you what. If somebody put
Highbury, Emirates. See what I'm saying?
the only difference
Highbury.
between
Highbury.
the Riverside and Pride Park and all these places, the only difference is the colour of the seats. He's talking about the baseball ground. If somebody dropped you in the middle of the baseball ground and never told you, you'd know exactly where you were. Same with Ayerson Park. Same with Roker Park. All these places were all unique Now, the only difference between most of them is the colour of the seat. Because they all look the same.
It's a good point. So glad we have Fulham still around with their stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, but even that changed, didn't it? It got all the...
They're building a new stand, or they have built a new stand that backs onto the Thames.
I like sitting on the wooden benches.
This
Look what we've gone off on one now, anyway. Okay, Stevie.
The grounds.
Stevie, who would get a red card first, Graeme Souness or Sergio Ramos?
Ooh.
Well, I've got to say Sergio Ramos. Well, actually,
I
was going to say Sergio Ramos. Well, the thing about Souness was, although everybody remembers all the tackles you see on YouTube, where he just it's just assault. But he had so many tackles that were just smart, that referees wouldn't know that he was actually doing somebody. He would make it look like a 50-50, and the guy couldn't get up, but he would walk away. Whereas Ramos, to me, too many of his red cards are just they're so blatantly stupid, you know.
See, the difference for me here is I didn't play with Graeme, but I know him. Is Ramos's red cards and yellow cards or whatever were because of generally, I think, being in a bad position and trying to get himself out of it. Graeme Souness's was because he'd already made his mind up. He was going to half somebody in two.
He was getting.
but also, boys, I mean, we have to think of the time. Some tackles in the 70s and 80s. I mean, you had to rob a bank to be sent off. It was like unbelievable.
There wasn't any cameras as well. We played Stade Bucharest, the semi-final of the Champions League, or the old European Cup, and their best player missed the second leg because he got his jaw broken in the first leg, and even the players on the field never saw Souness elbowing this guy in the jaw. I mean, everybody at the whole stadium, nobody saw it. The guy was just lying in a heap, and it turned out he broke his jaw. So
he had a tackle when he was player manager at Rangers. Well, he got sent off in his first game as player manager at Rangers. I believe it was at Hibs at Easter Road when he half somebody in two. But there's a challenge on YouTube for folks that want to go and watch it. When he was player manager at Rangers against, it might have been Steaua Bucharest against, but it was against a team in Europe when it's funny, the ball's nowhere near and he just goes right over the top one-legged and halves this guy in two, and then turns to the referee as the most innocent man. I mean, you got to go and I got doing this. Go and shoot. I'll find it. I'll tell you who it's against.
But Stevie, I played with one of your teammates, Steve McMahon. He was my manager at Swindon, playing manager, and his first game for the team was Southend away. And there was, after 10 minutes in the game, there was this thing, and there was this guy falling over, and I went over to him. I wanted to say to the referee that the Southend player was diving, and Steve McMahon said I didn't touch him. And then I looked down on the field, and he's broken the player's nose. So it was not a dive.
Wow.
Oops, I'm watching it.
These guys are looking back at it.
This is brilliant.
What do they need to look out to look back for this, Craig?
Watch.
Oh. Here it is.
Oh, they're using a phone now.
I know. I tell you what, he did George McCluskey against Celtic.
That was George McCluskey.
McCluskey. He did Neil Simpson.
All right.
I tell you what, we'll be here for a while.
Yeah, we will. People at home need to know what to go and look up because they can't
trying to find it. It just says Souness tackle. And it's
Just put that in anyway. You'll find plenty.
It's 24 seconds.
All right, Craig. I always hear that CONCACAF qualifying is so easy. What stories can you share about how difficult the matches away at Liechtenstein are?
Don't know, I've never played at Liechtenstein.
All right, well, some of the smaller teams in UEFA qualifying.
Smaller countries. They're only
San Marino?
Yeah, they're only made difficult by you being poor, really. When we went to, one of the tough places we went was Belarus, and the pitch was horrible and everything. It just made it for a bad game, but we did the job. Gary Mack scored the penalty. Bosh, job done, home with the 3 points.
Is it tougher than CONCACAF?
I've never played in CONCACAF.
What, do you think it's tougher than CONCACAF?
Yes.
But I think with the small nations, Kay, it's a big difference. Is some of these teams, they are so used to losing. So they're not going in there to win. They just go in there to defend, be good organised. Malta, for example, is a team like that in the European qualification. They lose 1 or 2-0, but they think it's okay. They want to win, of course, but they're not like they're losing it. And the same with Liechtenstein now. They get good organized now, and it's harder to break down as Germany saw the other night.
I love
what you do with your attitude. So, for example, I played in San Marino. And on the Saturday, I played at Anfield, the full house, against Manchester United. The atmosphere, the field, the whole thing was just incredible.
Yeah.
And then during the week, we go to San Marino. We're changing in makeshift dressing rooms.
Surprised you never pulled out of that one.
Changing makeshift dressing rooms. So you can't all go in at the same time. You know, you've got to wait till they bring all the kit in because it's not big enough. The stadium is actually surrounded by bleachers that you would get at a high school here. So sometimes it's just about your attitude. It's, you know, try to forget all that and think about, at the end of the day, it's a football field, it's green, the lines are white, the ball's round, it's 11 guys you're playing against. But it's not always dead easy to do that.
Of course.
Let me tell you, the US only had to go and play Trinidad and Tobago's reserve. We think it was the reserve. Shaka thinks it could be a hybrid of their second and third. And they couldn't do that. So it was nothing to do with pitches or conditions. It was to do with performance.
El Salvador is difficult though.
What?
El Salvador is difficult to go and get a result against.
How is it?
The grass for a start.
It's what?
The grass.
It's on grass.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Oh,
right. This is for you, Jan. Yeah. Steelwing says, which team right now makes the guys say, man, I wish I could play with these guys, and why is it Borough?
I'm not sure that I would have played for Borough at the moment because I know the manager loves to swap the strikers all the time. He loves to give all strikers in the club a shift. But yeah, at the moment, I think I would have loved to play somewhere where they create a lot of chances, scoring a lot of goals. Okay, for you, I will always go back to Borough after the thing that happened to you with the Borough gate the other night.
Okay, so thanks. Let's just stay there and keep it on a Borough positive. Craig, Ben asks, as Derby Forest was just last weekend, what are your best memories of playing in the East Midlands Derby? As a Red, I must admit it was weird to see an ex-Ram correct Don's Notts Forest comment recently.
Well, it's an easy one for me to correct because I lived in Nottingham for almost 15 years. So, but yeah, no, I think I only played against them once because Forest, unfortunately, have been in the Championship for a long time. And at my time at Derby, we only dived into the Championship at the end. So for a few months or whatever it was. So, but yeah, more of a memory of playing Leicester, which is another East Midlands derby. But yeah, I had to. The Notts Forest thing is a no-no. It's Notts County, Steve's old club, and it's Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Not the first thing Don's had to be corrected on.
And it won't be the last.
Did he say Nottingham County?
No, he said Notts Forest.
Yeah.
Oh, Notts Forest, right.
Which Nottingham Forest fans don't like.
Oh, we do miss Don, don't we?
Sorry. Oh, he's on his golf trip.
Oh, we've got a golf question coming up.
Don.
All right, Jerome asks you, Jan, as we've recently gotten a deep dive into TNT cuisine from Shaka Hislop, Jan Aage Fjortoft, what are some Norwegian delicacies?
We always have to go for the fish. I mean, the Scottish try to have the Scottish salmon, but sorry, that is silver medal. And forget the Canadian salmon. We have the best salmon in the world. So it is going to be fish.
Norwegian salmon.
Yeah, Norwegian salmon. You haven't heard about that?
Yes.
You haven't heard about that?
No, I have not.
I have.
Oh, Stevie, you will come with a Norwegian wood or something for the Beatles, but is it Norwegian salmon?
Do you even eat fish, Stevie?
Yeah, but only, of course I do.
Only if it's battered?
Correct.
You eat. Right.
As long as you batter it.
Do you like, so you won't eat smoked salmon, will you? Smoked salmon is my favourite.
No.
Fantastic.
It's good as well. It's good as well.
Fantastic.
No, thank you.
All right, Craig, after Gab said on last night's Extra Time that golf is the saddest sport to watch, would you like to have a go at Gab? What sport do you guys hate to watch? So
no,
first of all,
I don't want to have a go at Gab.
Watching golf. You don't mind watching golf?
Gab's not a golf fan, obviously. He's not a golfer. What sport do I hate to watch? Anything apart. So I watch golf, then I watch Stevie's favourite sport, which I know he loves, Formula 1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's
That's
my
good.
answer. I was trying to figure out
Why?
which...
What is it, the noise?
Oh, he hates it.
Over one.
What's interesting
great.
about it?
It's brilliant.
It's in
Fantastic.
Holland.
Follow it.
It's in Holland this
Fantastic.
weekend.
Look,
Yes,
I've never been
Verstappen.
to a Formula One race, right? And when you're there, maybe it's better because you're actually there and you can follow it. And
But you can't. It's the same
But I
thing.
On
love
the
watching it on
TV.
ESPN.
No,
why can you follow it on the television? You can't.
You can follow
better.
it really
Unless
easily
they
by
tell
tuning
you.
into ESPN.
Unless they actually
Yeah.
tell you what's
I can
going
watch
on.
it anytime on my ESPN app.
Seriously.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
For today,
I was going to say ice hockey.
I love the Formula
I can't see the
Ice
puck.
hockey.
I can't follow the puck. It's a good job they got a buzzer when it hits the
It's a
back
good
of
job
the net.
that's on ESPN
And by the
too.
way, that tells you there's a reason why he's got a buzzer in the back of the net. Because nobody would have seen it going in.
Jan, what sport do you not like to watch?
I am a sport lover. I love Formula One, and like Craig said, it's a very exciting race now in Holland. Verstappen's home ground, Red Bull's home ground. But I would like to say that the first 2-3 years when I came to England, I thought cricket was the most boring sport I've ever seen in my life. And then I realized that the people around me loved it, and I learned some of the rules, and I thought it was great to watch. So I'm a sport lover, Kay, so I can't say one that is very, very sad for me to watch.
Okay.
Hold on, for these two guys, right? So you tell me, what kind of sport is it when basically the best car wins? Regardless, you could stick a chimpanzee in the best car.
What if they crash?
And it would win.
What if they crash?
Chimpanzees are smart. But basically, how is that a sport
What if they get
when the
knocked off
best
the
car
track?
always wins a
Well,
championship?
Because the best car has, the best team or the best car has two cars at least. So there are two drivers in that team. So
that's a great sport. Well, you know who's going to win it, but you're just not quite sure whether it's the first
well,
car.
you don't know
or the
who's
second
going
car.
to.
No, we
the moment
don't.
you
You
don't.
know, no.
He
We
doesn't
don't.
like it.
Doesn't like it, and I don't think we're
Boring.
going to convince
So
him.
I think that's brilliant. IndyCar as well. In a minute, I follow a bit of IndyCar in the States.
Craig likes it all.
I don't. A question. Is that a sport? Freaking hate it.
Yeah, you don't like what?
Horse jumping.
Why? That's impressive.
What about this? Well,
What?
we are discussing what's the saddest sport to watch, and Stevie starts about ice hockey where he can't see. I mean, what sport? If 5 years time Stevie can't see football, he can't see the ball.
No, you're wrong. I went and saw ice hockey before I had glasses, and I still couldn't follow it.
They say the rules are very similar to football. No?
Well, it doesn't matter what the rules are. If you can't see what you're playing with, it doesn't really make any difference. Does
All
it?
right, let's go on to this one. You can all answer this. Right, Stevie, did you take more pride playing for your country or your club?
Oh, do you want me to give you the answer?
Yeah, I think we know.
It's not really. That's an unfair question.
Why?
Good question.
Because he never pulled out of any Scotland squad.
No, because
Because you just
my
wanted to
first
play on the
cap-
successful
My
side.
first cap, I'll never forget standing in front of 100 pipers and they're playing Scotland the Brave. Never forget it ever. It was as good as anything else that ever happened to me. So that's an unfair question.
See, I didn't have that lot. I didn't. You know how I didn't have the pipers playing? Do you know why?
Because they changed it. And
No.
Had some singer probably.
No, because I made my debut in Hiroshima. Now,
Oh.
And they couldn't find a record of it. I'm guessing.
in Japan. You're looking at me like,
Yeah.
why was it? Is it wrong to make your debut in Japan?
No, not at all. I'm just interested in the story.
So that's the
No,
answer.
sorry,
though.
there was no bagpipes there.
Okay. But I don't think he's kind of avoided saying where did you have more pride? Then obviously
Yeah.
that made you feel amazing.
Well, it's not. How can you put one ahead of the other? Is it not possible to have just as much pride for both? Is that not possible?
No, but
You can tell us.
You can ask a question and say, "Oh, do you like?"
Everything's got to be
do you
black
like
and
red?
white.
Do you like red better than blue? Or the fact is, you can't beat, and you could never replicate that night. Me standing in my first cap at Hampden Park in front of 100 pipers.
Do you have an answer, Craig?
What?
More pride for
Same.
club or
I
country?
ditto.
All right. Jan.
No, I would say because I don't think you can compare that because Stevie Nicol played for for a long time for one club. And I played in 4 different countries with a lot of clubs. I was very proud to play for those clubs. But I think the key word here is pride. And I think that the biggest thing you can achieve is to represent your country. And the national anthem, I 100% agree with Stevie. I mean, the proudest moment in my life, my caps. And I think that, yes, I love to play my clubs. I follow my clubs. But I think the key word here is pride. Pride.
I think it's just different. There's no other way to describe it. It's different. One you're doing it day in, day out, and the other you pitch along to represent your country, and that's what you thought about doing when you were a little boy or a little girl.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a pressure on you for that period of time, and then you go back to your club and you do it comes naturally to you.
Right.
It's just different.
It's a different feeling. Craig, what annoys you most? What annoys you most?
How long have we got?
Pundits who call managers by their first name, or pundits who are blatantly biased towards their old team and teammates?
Listen.
Good questions.
Well, I mean, I say it doesn't. It's none of my business, really.
Well, you got a little bit annoyed the other day with the Ronaldo outpouring from some ex-United players.
Well, I think some of those ex-United ones seem particularly bad because they are prominent in the media at the moment. But anyway, it's none of my business if that's the way they want to do it, and people want to do it. That's their own business. I don't personally myself like calling all the managers by their first names. I don't.
The
second one was. Oh, the first one was.
The first one's worse then, you don't like?
The first one's what?
No, second.
Second? Yeah, second for you as well, Steve?
Yeah, because it's part of your job as a pundit, is regardless of where your allegiances were, to be honest about it.
Well, how come Dan Thomas called you Liverpool TV the other night on the transfer deadline day special?
Well, because he didn't like what I was saying.
Right.
That doesn't make him right. Because he was wrong. Completely.
Oh, I'm not.
I
don't have an opinion on this.
Oh, I mean, the good thing is that Craig was watching the transfer deadline day special because he actually watches the content that we have here.
Well, what happened was I stumbled across it on ESPN Plus, and there you were, all those pundits in their glory having an argument or a debate. So I thought, I've got nothing else to do. I'll have 20 minutes of this.
Well, plus,
and then he got upset with Dan. Standard.
Yeah, but then plus what you got to remember as well is Dan's there to throw little hand grenades in. Just pull the plug and try and annoy you, just to wind you up.
And nobody does it better than Mr. Thomas.
No.
Well, he's pretty good at it.
He's very good at it.
Little man syndrome.
Dad'll be back tomorrow anyway.
I mean, where have you put all the cushions? He sits on behind the... All right.
He can defend himself on tomorrow's show.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.